Hey you guys, this is Jen. I haven't been around for a while. My whole life is going through changes. My daughter, who lives with me, has fallen in love and is going to get married, and no one is more shocked than me, her mother, because I always told her she was about as romantic as a rock. And the only way this was ever going to happen is someone came in and swept her off her feet. And I was waiting and waiting for that to happen, and now it has. And I'm like, oh, I don't like that very much. So we have lived together for about the last 7 years, and she does a lot for me and makes sure that things are easier for me, and I really appreciate that. And now she's going to be leaving me and maybe moving to California. I'm not exactly sure. And California is 2,100 miles away from me. So, this all just happened really quickly, and yeah, I'm kind of like trying to figure out still what happened. Me too, said Bunny. I'm also trying to figure out what happened, and I'm trying to help Mom feel better. Yes, Bunny, you've been a great help and a great comfort because I know you will never leave me. Anyway, I do have some things that I have made. However, I don't have them listed on my Etsy, and I'm just in a really weird place, and I haven't been getting a lot of crafting done. It's like I work and work and everything is like not not going anywhere. I don't know. Um, I am going to do a tutorial actually today because I just felt like it, and I don't know that I've ever actually done this. These are playing cards, and some people call them artist trading cards. They're just, the cards that come out of a box, and I use them, well, when somebody buys something from me, I usually use it as a little extra thing to stick in their, envelope as a little thank you for buying something. This one says, I feel so lucky. It's got a Tim Holtz picture on it, and on the back, I always make a pocket, and I always, I learned this from Michelle Mulligan way, way long time ago. And then that way you can put a little something in here. This says, wishing you all you are wishing for. The lighting doesn't seem to be too good in here today. But anyway, and of course, there's Bunny. You know, Bunny, none of my creations can go out without Bunny. So, yeah, this is just a little, tag thing I made, and it goes right in here, and this is a stamp on some cotton, and then I just ran the sewing machine up there. So there's this one. These are ones that I already have made. Today is full of possibilities. I got that bird on the back from Angelica. She's my friend in Austria, and I just put ink on it to distress it. And here is a little tag, and you open it up, and it says, wherever you go, go with all your heart, for you were born to shine. A lot of times, I try to, I don't like to just do pretty pictures and stuff. I like for my stuff to say something or have a purpose, so that when somebody looks at it, they'll be like, either think it's funny, or they'll think it's sweet, or it'll be like, oh, I just needed to hear that today, or something like that. So this says, my circus, my monkeys. Usually it says, not my circus. A lot of these little sayings came from Tim Holtz. I got a thing with a bunch of stickers on it with different, little sayings. This one actually, is mostly gone, as you can see. But anyway, and this one on the back, there's a number 2. It says, little boys, the most unmanageable of all the creatures, but you can't get them out of your heart. And that is the truth. And when my daughter gets married, this is a little heart that's folded to look like a little envelope. She will be getting a 6-year-old stepson. So, there's Bunny. Anyway, that's pretty cool because I already have a granddaughter, and so I'm getting a ready-made grandson as well. So anyway, there's a lot of changes going on, and my other son is being considered for a different job than what he has right now, and it is in a different city, which is like 45 minutes away from me, so it's not like it's, on the other side of the country, but we won't be right in the same town, and he's waiting to see if they give him an offer, and just a whole bunch of stuff's going on, and I don't really like change. I don't like any kind of change. So, and somebody sent me a note on YouTube the other day to see if I was okay because they hadn't seen anything new from me. So I thought maybe I should do something. This is one day she discovered she was fierce and strong and full of fire, and not even she could hold herself back because her passion burned brighter than her fears. So, anyway, that's why you haven't seen me. It's just been a lot of stuff, a lot of emotions, a lot of, oh, there's Bunny. And, it's just been something that's going to take me a while to get used to. And this says fearless on it. And, here's one that says let life surprise you. And on the back, I'm seeking, I am striving, I'm in it with all my heart. That's by Van Gogh. So, like, when I do these, sometimes I can't think of anything to put on them. Hold tight and pretend it's a plan. So when I do them, if I can't think of something, I'll just leave them sit, put them somewhere and just leave it, let it go. And then when I'm ready to actually use it or send it to somebody, then usually it'll pop into my head what I want it to say. So here is a little teeny tiny booklet, and it's just got some different papers on it. It says never let them steal your joy. And there's Bunny to make everybody in the world joyful, except the people that don't like my videos. But that's okay, because they're not important to me. And this says, if you obey all the rules, you miss all the fun. That's Katharine Hepburn. So, anyway, I just wanted to give you a little look at what these are and why, why I make them and what they can look like when you're done. And then I just let's just take a couple of these. And a lot of people say that you should put gesso on them in order to, because the cards have a slick surface. So I just happen to have my acrylic gesso right here. And I am going to go ahead and coat these with gesso. I don't know that you really have to most of the time, and of course, it doesn't matter how you put it on, it's just, no one's going to see it anyway. But a lot of times I don't bother to do the gesso because I usually sew stuff on here, and if you're going to do sewing, then it's going to hold your stuff together anyway, so it's not that important. The reason I'm doing this is because my sewing machine is compromised when I'm in this position. I can't get to my sewing machine. This is not a great setup for doing a tutorial. I need an overhead type camera, but I don't have one of those at this time. And so since my stove also doesn't work, that's more on my priority list than a camera thing. So we'll just have to work along with me. And this is what you do, like when you're poor. You make do, and you just do what you have to do to get by. And that's kind of what we're doing right here. So it can be very fun, and it can be, of course, very horrible. But at the same time, it gives you a chance to come up with solutions for stuff. Now, I layer a lot, a lot, a lot. So what I usually start out with is just a book page, and of course anybody that does this stuff has a ton of book pages because, you know, you rip them out to use the covers or whatever. I'm going to run the dryer on this really quickly, so don't panic. Okay, there we go. And so what I usually do after I've gotten to this point is I take my homemade Mod Podge, which is Elmer's glue and water, and I mix it together till it's like the consistency that I like. I cover my little card with it. Again, it doesn't matter how well you do or how neatly you do or any of that kind of stuff because no one's going to see it. And then I take my book page and I cover it. Probably no one's even going to see the book page because of the fact that I put so many layers on. But, just in case part of the card would show, and sometimes people want the cards to show, and if you want it to show to where you can see that it was an 8 or whatever, that's fine. You can do it however you want. It doesn't matter. And we'll put this one down here and straighten that out just a little bit. And then we're just going to cut off the extra. And then you'd think I'd never held scissors before. It's different when you have people watching what you do. But it's all good. Not a problem. Okay. So, we get these two cards covered with book pages. Cut off the excess. And then, I probably take my ink. Where's my thingy? My ink thingy. Hello, where are you? I have oh, here it is. I knew it was somewhere. I just cleaned my desk off, actually. You probably doesn't look like it, and you're probably like, oh my god, I would have hated to see it before. And, let me tell you, that's true. You would have hated to see it before, because it gets to be a real mess. But I try to clear it off after every project, because, you just never know what is going to happen or whatever. So, okay. Now, after you get these book pages on, I don't like, well, these actually are kind of, yellowed a little bit anyway. They're not the real white paper, but I do not like the white. So I usually you can either take a tea bag, take a tea bag apart and just use the paper tea bag part, and you can cover this paper with that, and it will, yellow or darken your book pages. And it's an easy way without using a bunch of sprays and a bunch of ink to just give you a more distressed looking thing. So, like, you just take this, cover it up with the pattern paper, and like if you go to the thrift store or something, oh my god, there are so many patterns, and apparently people used to sew a lot and now they don't, or if they do, I don't know, but there are a ton of old patterns, and some of them are really cool because you can get the pictures off the front, and they're very vintage looking. I have had like ones from the 60s and stuff like that. I'm sure there were, I don't even know when they started making patterns to sell like that, but yeah, you can find some old ones, and then those pictures are pretty cool. So you cover these. There we go. And as much pattern material, pattern paper material, as there is in a pattern, and no more than you use for something like this, you've got a long way to go. I mean, like, you've got stuff that you can use for a long time. So, and it's very, very cheap. I mean, you can get patterns for 10 cents or a whole bag of them for $1 or whatever. So, yeah. It's just a little information for you about patterns. So, here is your paper now, and I mean your card. And, you know, it looks old and it looks distressed and it looks like it's been up in someone's attic for a long time. I am taking a drink. Okay, thank you. That was just a little break. And here's the other one. And sometimes they get wrinkled, and I actually like that because it gives it some more texture. So then you cut this off. And you can also tear the excess off if you don't want it to look all like perfect and stuff. And I do that a lot because I don't like it to look all perfect and stuff. And usually when I'm doing this to the front, I'm also doing it to the back at the same time. Like, I'll go ahead and put book pages and stuff on the back too, because I don't know exactly what I'm going to do. And, you know, you can never have too many layers. That's my my go-to thing is, you know, you put on so many layers that you can't possibly put on one more, and then you put on one more, and then you're done. So, you know, I like a lot of layers. Anyway, so then we have, let's see. Okay, now then we have to get out something to put on the front of this. Now, you can decide if it's a pretty picture, a person, an animal, a thing, you know, something. Oh, here's one too. I forgot. You know, just, I got these pictures off of just patterned paper that I got in a pad the other day. So, you know, there's all kinds of things that you could put on one. This is a tag I have, and, you know, she would be really pretty on one. You know, you could just cut that out and put her on there, and then put, you know, a back on and make a quote about her or something. Let me see what else this is my little, you know, I told you that I save things, and I do save things. I save everything. Here is a stack of little junky stuff that I pulled out to put on these, because, I mean, there is like no piece of paper is ever too small to save if you are me. And what I do is I just take all these little bits and pieces, and I just, you know, put them on until I don't need any more stuff. And I don't know how else to explain that. It's just a feeling I have of when it's done. And so anyway, when I do have little bits and stuff like this, I go ahead and usually ink them, because they're not all going to be next to an edge, so some of them will not be able to be inked, and I like all of my stuff to have some ink on it. So then I just, like, you know, and a lot of people, like, plan their stuff out in advance. I don't do that just because I don't know what I want to do. And if I sat there and planned everything out, it would, like, take me forever. I would rather just kind of fly by the seat of my pants and see what happens. If I like it, great. If I hate it, no big deal. I'll take it apart. You know, you can't make any mistakes. I mean, anything is workable, and pretty much anything that you do can be fixed if you think you've made a mistake or something like that. So I love music paper, and that usually has a place in my work. I had some really, really old music paper. Oh, here it is. I love this. I got this from Angel in Austria, and it's like, I don't even know what it is, but it's like really old and very, very brittle. And I'm saving it and using just teeny tiny bits of it because I like it so much, and I'll probably never find anything like that again unless she sends me some. Did you get that, Angel, if you're watching? Um, so anyway, I think this is really pretty. And so I'm just layering different things on the paper, on the card, until I feel like it's got a nice background. Sometimes I layer all this stuff, and by the time I'm done with the card, you can't see half of the layers because I put too much stuff on. So, then that's frustrating if you've used something that you really, really like and it gets covered over because you've put too much stuff on. Um, I also like to use bits and pieces of these doilies because they kind of look like lace, but they're not lace, of course. They're doilies, and you can throw that in and add that on anywhere, and it just gives you a nice little added texture. Or this one's actually been sprayed before, and it can give you, a nice added color. And I just pull these apart, and I'm going to put this on here, and put a little bit more ink on the edge here. Okay, and then we'll just put the glue stuff down and put that on the card. So now we have a pretty good base of, layering. And then I'm going to find something that I want to put on here. And I think it may be this lady. She looks pretty serious. Let me see. If I put her on here, I have to cut off her feet, but I get a good part of her will be on here. So, and again, like, I don't mind leaving a little bit at the top and a little bit at the bottom hanging over because, I don't know, it'll be alright. It'll work out one way or the other. I'm also, let's see, oh, here. I like this. Which is some paper. I've got some patterned paper. I think that's pretty cool. So I'm just going to rip off a piece because I don't like it to look like I cut it with a, paper cutter or scissors. I would rather have it be more rugged. So I'm pulling this apart here. There we go. And then I'm going to give the edges some ink. And I'm going to put this down here. It's hard to make sure that I'm in frame. Like I said, this should be up over my head so you guys can look down and see what I'm doing, but this is the only way I could do it for right now. So anyway, so this is on there. And I usually find some kind of piece of fabric because I really like fabric and paper together. Here's a bunch of little fabric bits and pieces that I haven't used yet. I kind of like this little blue piece. I mean, I save so many little tiny things, you would not even believe it. It doesn't matter how small it is. I clip it and I put it in here, and someday maybe I'll use it and someday I won't, but you know, it's nice to have all this stuff because sometimes it just takes one little tiny piece and to make me feel like this thing is actually finished, you know. I like that feeling. So, I mean, I don't want to throw something away and then cut a little tiny piece off something else that's like a whole big piece, you know. I guess well, anyway, so I want some of this, raggedy, it's a handkerchief, a very old handkerchief, and I have cut lots of pieces off of it in the past. And so you see how wonderfully this ravels, and I have all this, like, you know, hairy looking material. And so anyway, I'm going to use this somewhere, and I'm going to use this somewhere too, I think. Come here, lady. Let's see what you look like. So, I don't like that. We'll take that one off. See what else we got here. Okay. I gotta look in my little baggie again. Here is a little piece of cotton fabric. Let's see here. Sometimes it's hard for me to pull the fabric the way I want because my hands get sore, but I usually try to, you know, rip it instead of cut it because, again, I don't want the edges to be straight. I want them to be distressed. So, okay, so I got this little piece of fabric, and the nice thing about fabric pieces like this is that you can like use them to put a safety pin on with a little dangle, or you know, some kind of, now see, I've just about covered up all that really cool music paper, but anyway, I like to be able to use them to hang something on, and then yeah, that usually works out pretty well. So I'm going to put this one right here. And again, before I'm done with this, I will probably go around and sew it. Like, okay, so I'm going to put this lady right here. And I'm going to use some tacky glue. If I have any that will come out. And I'm only going, you know, 3/4 of the way down because I don't have room for her legs. So we're gonna put her on here about like that, to where her hat is prominently sticking out, and also the glue that I stuck on her hat. I always have glue everywhere, all over me, all over my scissors, all over, yeah, all over everywhere. So I'm going to take this, I don't want to cut off that little piece of fabric, so I'm going to put this like this and cut off her legs. Ouch. She's okay, really, it didn't hurt her. Okay, now, when the next thing I would do is turn it over and go ahead and put all that stuff on the back, like, well, let's just do some, I don't think I'll use that. I think I'll use, here's something. This is looks like a dictionary page. So I'm going to use that on the back. And again, I'm going to cover this with something to make a pocket. So the back is not quite as important as the front. Because, yeah, there's going to be, oh, I just, I just made a mess with my glue again. You know, I'm not used to having someone watching me and having to, like, narrate what I'm doing and stuff. So, you know, you guys will probably be like, okay, please don't ever do another tutorial. Okay, sorry. Now, again, I'm going to cover this with, and I'm not going to worry about that bottom part because it's going to be covered with whatever kind of pocket I put on here. But I am going to cover this with the tissue or the pattern paper. And sometimes if I want something interesting, I'll go ahead and, you know, leave the written words on here or whatever to do with it, the black line stuff. So, you know, it doesn't matter if you want to do that. And then, sometimes you can rip it, sometimes it doesn't work. But I don't want to, you know, cut her hat off, or her head. Okay, and then if you, like, do this and, you know, you got some of it still showing, then, you know, just put a little more glue on, add another piece, you know, it's really, it can't be messed up. I cannot stress this enough. Okay, and then after you get all that done, you will find something. I mean, I don't know if it will be a piece of lace, a piece of fabric, a piece of book paper. I mean, like, I could take this and put it down here and sew up the sides and make a little pocket, and then I could put a little tag in there. You know, the possibilities are endless, and I'm not going to go through all of that stuff right now because, you know, this has gone on long enough. This torture has gone on long enough. So anyway, like, see, this looks cute. You could even use that little handkerchief. And all it has to do is hold one little bit of paper in there. So even though this is very delicate, it would work. And then you just use whatever you have to make a little tag, or like sometimes when I'm not sure what I want to make, you know, I make little tags in advance, like these, and then you can just, you know, you could put this whole thing on the back if you wanted to, or here's one I made out of some pattern paper, and then you just, you know. So anyway, the point is, anything goes. You can do whatever you want, and there is no right or wrong way to do it. It's just your way. So don't let people tell you that you're not doing it right, because you can do whatever you want. And then at the end, you know, I would add some embellishments, maybe add a little bit of color to her dress or something with some markers. And then I will add some kind of a statement. I don't know what. You know, she looks like somebody who's ready to rock and roll. She looks like someone who knows what she wants and she knows how to get it. So it would probably be something about a strong woman type thing. So anyway, I just wanted to show you guys that and let you know that I am fine. I am okay. I have been working, but just not in my usual capacity. I did get this little tiny jar, which I thought was cute. It's just a little glass jar. There's Bunny. And I decorated that, and then I made the top, and I made it like a pin cushion. It can either be a pin cushion or just like a, I don't know, a trinket jar or something. So, I mean, I have been doing things. I've got a couple Bunny albums here, but I haven't got Bunny ready yet. So, one of these days, I'm going to get it all together and I will list the things that I have ready, and I will get back in the swing of things after my after I get my head back on straight. So you guys have a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and thanks for your support. I love you all. Bye.